AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Homebuilder stocks stumbled today after President Trump imposed that tariff on lumber coming from Canada. 5 specific Canadian companies will pay a tax of between 3 and 24%. All other companies will pay about 20%. Here's the president's rationale that he outlined a short time ago.
We will be putting a very big tariff on timber coming into this country. People don't realize Canada has been very rough on the United States. Everyone thinks of Canada as being wonderful, and so do I. I love Canada. But they've outsmarted our politicians for many years, and you people understand that. So we did institute a very big tariff.
We've got industry insiders on both sides of the border. Joining us now, Seth Kursman, Vice President of Corporate Communications, Sustainability, and Government Affairs at Resolute Forest Products. Resolute is one of the companies singled out by this new tariff. Also with us, Andrew Miller, CEO of Stimson Lumber Company here in the U.S. So first to you, Seth.
Yes,
are any of the allegations that the provinces are subsidizing those exports of lumber out of Canada to the U.S. true?
Well, I can certainly speak for Quebec and Ontario, where we operate, and we remain confident that we should have nothing less than free, unencumbered access to the U.S. marketplace. Every international tribunal that has looked at this issue since 1983 has found it in Canada's favor. And if you look at specifically what's been undertaken in Quebec with tenure reform, it's a market-based system. It replicates what's done in the United States. And in Ontario, a binational panel under NAFTA in 2005 already determined any subsidy level to be de minimis. So why would we accept anything less than free trade?
I'm sorry, Seth. Was that a yes or a no? Is the lumber coming to the United States here from your parts of Canada? Are they subsidized to bring the prices down?
Absolutely not.
Okay. That's what we're after. Mr. Miller, has your company been materially hurt by lumber imports from Canada?
Yes, and Seth's arguments are patently wrong. I mean, they do subsidize their timber. It's an established fact. That's why the Commerce Department is levying these duties. The government provides his company with 75% of their timber at a fixed price, and timber is 2/3 the price or the cost of manufacturing lumber. In BC, the subsidies are even more substantial. The provincial governments of Canada use their owned timber to operate sawmills to produce maximum employment and jobs, and they cost jobs in rural America day in and day out, and it's been the case for decades. And yes, we are harmed. We could operate our mills at higher rates of capacity if it weren't for the fact that we're always facing an overburdened market with depressed prices caused by the Canadian system, which is to operate their sawmills as public utilities, as job and economic creation engines.
All right. Are we playing a game of semantics here then, Seth?
No, I think it's far more than semantics.
One person's subsidy is another person's public utility?
Yeah, this is unfortunately yet another example in the United States where a small group benefited by or motivated by greed are taking advantage of the many. You have a group of timber barons who are trying to raise the value of their real estate, of their land holdings, and that's at the expense not only of Canadian workers and families, but Americans and workers and families. Every $1,000 increase in the price of a home puts 153,000 American families out of home ownership. So this is not good for consumers. It's not good for workers on either side of the border. And if President Trump is going to achieve that 4% economic prosperity that he speaks to, and we certainly hope is true, if housing represents up to 18% of U.S. GDP, you can't afford to have a great deal of volatility and price surges.
Andrew, can you just respond to that? Because people are saying we've already seen a 21% surge in the price of lumber this year. That will result in higher new home sales for American consumers.
Home prices.
Home prices.
Yeah, I respectfully disagree. The facts don't support that contention. Both the Canadians and the National Association of Home Builders have been touting facts that are just not supported by the reality. Lumber, framing lumber, not all
Andrew,
the other lumber.
I'm sorry, but isn't it just Econ 101 that if we're going to impose as much as a 20% tariff on lumber coming into this country, that the price is going to have to go up? You're free to raise your prices as well.
Are you saying the home builders are just going to take the costs?
Well, lumber accounts for 2% of the cost of a home. Okay, the national, it's not $1,500 a house.
Our lumber price is going to have to go up as a result of these tariffs. Will you be
Not
raising
necessarily.
your prices?
No, we can't, because we are in a global market for a commodity. The price of lumber is going to settle down based on the fundamentals of supply and demand, which means how many people are building homes, how much lumber is being used, and how much is being produced. So what does this tariff solve if it doesn't mean higher margins for you? It levels the playing field. The subsidies that the Commerce Department has calculated speak for themselves. Resolute, they've determined, has a 12% cost advantage because of the timber price they receive from their provincial government. It levels the playing field, so they have to absorb that 12%. In British Columbia, some of the mills are going to absorb a cost of 20%. But the price of lumber is de minimis to the cost of a home. And if you look at the National Association of Home Builders, they'll tell you it's... I got it. I'm sorry. I apologize. We've heard that point before, and I'm so tight on time. We got to go at this point. This deserves much more time, but we don't have it right now. Thank you both. Thank you.